Hi, my name is Mark Von Drasek, and I'm a physics teacher at Evanston Township High School. And I wanted to make this and pass it around to those who may be interested in having a conversation about the achievement and opportunity gaps that exist here in Evanston, both in District 65 and at District 202, um, by making you aware of something that we used to do in combination between the two districts and Northwestern called Project Excite. That was a program that was run approximately 17 years or so, beginning in 2000. I was one of the original founders of the program. And it focused on achievement gaps in particular for Black students and Hispanic students. So here at the high school, for many years, and you could argue even today, we kind of have two schools in one, depending on a student's race. Um, White students generally are in exclusively honors and AP classes, and you don't see the same representation of students of color. So what we try to do is try to find any kind of model that could make a dent, at least, in the achievement gaps, and possibly to try to close those gaps as best we can. Certainly by the time that the students got here to the high schools. We started young. We knew it was going to be a long-term process. And so the original model of Excite was to start with students in third grade, and then each year they would move in, they would stay within Excite from third grade all the way until they got into the high school. And each year we'd have different classes, experiences, different work with the parents that would happen. And we actually were able to, for nearly all of those students, at least on paper, is to close that gap by the time they got into late middle school and into the high school. So that was the purpose of Excite. And the way it was done over those years, being a long-term approach, was a comprehensive package. We focused primarily on STEM skills. We realized pretty early on that we had to include supplementing reading skills. We had high school students working directly with the young kids when they're still in elementary school. So we had those positive student role models. We brought them to the high school. We brought them to Northwestern on campus to plant those seeds that this is the goal, is to get there, and that they're capable of doing that. We had long-term parent commitment. We actually had parent groups form within Excite. Academically, students were taking the weekend and summer courses through CTD, the Center for Talent Development at Northwestern. Northwestern was the one who put up the money for that primarily. We got our students of color working with the gifted or accelerated white and Asian kids from all around the country. And the goal wasn't really even on any particular academic topics. It was really on the SEL side of things, is to build up the self-confidence in particular that for a student of color to say that, oh, I can do this. I'm doing equally well with these other kids from all over. I've got support systems in place that help me keep moving. I belong here. I can do this. And it tended to work. We call it Excite, not to focus on academics, but rather on the SEL skill side of things. Now, unfortunately, Northwestern pulled out kind of unilaterally back in 2017 for a variety of reasons. They instituted some other programs that they were interested in, which really don't go to the core problems of what causes the achievement gaps or addressing those achievement gaps. And so since then, and then certainly after COVID, we have not had any coordinated program focused on achievement and opportunity gaps between the two districts. And that's something that I'm hoping to have a conversation with you and see where things are at, what are the two districts currently doing about these problems, and possibly taking some of what we learned in closing those achievement gaps to the next level and for more kids district-wide. So these are just from 2018 through last year. I haven't seen the 2024 data yet, from last spring, but pretty consistent gaps between white students and students of color. No real changes in general. These distributions are similar to what it was when I came here back in, before 2000. I suspect it was like this, 20, 25 years before I got here. So a long-term issue that not just we have, but nationally, racially diverse and socioeconomic diverse districts all across the country have similar issues with the achievement gaps. These are high school data, ETHS data from the SATs. That previous one was English. This is for math. These I pulled from District 65 data. Similar percentages, similar distributions for both English skills, reading skills, and math skills. So the gaps are still here. This is what it looked like from the Excite program, from the original model. Going back to the days of when ISATs were given and things like that. So our Excite students started just a little bit above the average of our students of color. This is going back to third grade. And by the time they were in middle school, the gaps of those Black and Latino students caught up with white students. So by the time they got to the high school, they had all the same opportunities. They could go right into the honors classes, into the AP classes. They were going off to the colleges of their choice. So it was doing what we had hoped it would do. But it takes a long-term commitment from both districts, starting young and building this up over time, in order to put these students in positions where they have the same set of options at least, and then it's their choice of what they want to do, as the average white student has. Okay, so again, the gaps are still here, and so this is why I would love to be able to sit down with people who are interested in this from District 65 and see if there's interest, to see if there's a need, to see if we can start working together in similar ways. Of course, it's going to look very different now compared to what we had before. New technologies, new issues that have come up with AI and whatnot. But if you have some of those interests in trying to look at a long-term process we can put in place, at least some pilots that we can put in place, yeah, please get in contact with me, and it would be fun to sit down and see what, if something like this is possible. This is my email address, the single best way of getting in touch with me, and perhaps I will hear from you at some point and see where we're at. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate your time.